डॉगी का काम है, पेंट्स दिया काम वाली को तो उसका काम है, तो इधर आके
नहीं नहीं, अब नया नया लाया है तो नया
ਸਿਆਣੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼
gitulah. Hello, team members. My name is Kushal. I'm just setting up my system. Can anybody confirm if I am audible to all of you?
Sir, good morning, sir. Myself, Prem Kumar. It's audible, sir.
Okay, thank you, Prem. Thank you for the confirmation.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can we start the meeting at 10:30, sir?
Yes, yes,
Participants are on the way, sir.
yes. We can start it at 10:30.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
What
Sir, Jain sir.
Yes, sir.
So now we can start the section, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine.
A very pleasant good morning to one and all gathered here. It's my privilege to address you all on the behalf of Mechanical Department on the Karpagavanayaga College of Engineering and Technology for a 1 week STDP is a short-term training program on the topic of technology startup and patent production strategies. It's empowering young innovators. It's from 21 March to 25th March. So day 4, that is on the topic of patent research and strategies, which is going to be held by the head of the Kushal Jain. He is a senior manager, patent research, Significant LLP. He has an experience of 8 years in the IP field. He has done a postgraduate diploma in intellectual property rights and a general course on intellectual property, WIPO. He has undertaken many challenging projects related to mechanical engineering that include construction, robotics, automobiles, kinematics, etc. He has also drafted provisional and non-provisional patent application for USPTO. He is a proficient in handling patent rater surveys as well as technology research, including competitive intelligence, white space analysis, patent portfolio analysis, or the like. He has also represented significant at various tech events. Once again, I am all welcome you all. Sir?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Prem, for this introduction. I think we are good to go for the session now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share my screen first of all, and once it's shared, please confirm if you are able to see it. Okay, so is my screen visible to all?
So now it's not visible, sir.
Okay, let's wait for a couple of seconds more.
Sir, can you switch on your video, sir?
Yes, sure. Give me a moment. Hi, I hope I'm visible there.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir.
Let me share my screen once again. Let me try it. Okay, so please confirm when you are able to see it.
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Okay, fine. So instead of jumping on directly to this session's topic, which is patent search strategies and techniques, I would like to briefly tell you something about Significant, what Significant does. So Significant is basically a KPO firm that deals in patents, in market research, in patent illustrations, in technology research, and market research and trademark and other IP services. So we have a very diversified team of that includes mechanical domain, electronics and electrical engineers, the bio tech research experts, the life sciences team, and the other market research team, and the material science as well. So this is the diversified team that we have here at Significant. So this was about Significant, and I, along with the other senior members, I am heading the mechanical department here. So I think that's it for the introduction part. We'll move further with the topic which we have, chosen as patent research strategies and techniques. So let's start with it. Okay, so they say it all starts with an idea. You guys might have heard that when we talk about innovation. So it starts with an idea, but I would rather say it all starts with a problem. Say I have a problem that I am facing right now. So what would I do? I would start searching for the alternates or for the solutions using which the problem can be solved. So that is basically the budding of an idea. And after I have a set of ideas or multiple ideas, I will select the best possible one to solve that problem. Fine. Once I have that one particular solution which is best suited to solve the problem, I would next go towards making the prototype of that idea or the solution that I have got. Right. So after that prototype, I would start searching for the business plan as to what benefits this idea or this solution can give to me. So that would be the preparing business plan strategy. After this business plan, there comes the one of the most important milestone. So that we call the background search of the solution that I have got for solving the particular problem that I was having initially. So this background search basically includes a different aspects which will be covered in the subsequent slides here. So few of them have been mentioned here, like key terms and classifications, patent databases, search queries, and search analysis. So these are few set of search parameters which we'll be looking into in the subsequent slides. So this budding of an idea, making prototype, preparing business plan, and the background search, all these are the milestones that the idea has to cover or cross while approaching the innovation stage or the commercialization stage or the success stage. So now that we have understood what the journey of idea includes, we'll briefly talk about what is a patent. I hope you all might have the basic idea of what a patent is from the previous sessions that you guys had attended. So I would not take much time to walk you through this. Patent is basically a legal document which discloses the technical details of the innovation that you have got in the written format, and it gives you a right to use the product, to sell the product, and at the same time you will be given the rights to prevent the use of that product or the solution that you have in your innovation from the other people who might be using it or manufacturing it or selling it. You have the full authority to stop them if you have a patent with you. So this was about a patent, but few of you might be thinking that patent is okay, one thing, but what if I have an idea and I start start manufacturing it and start selling it without going to the route of patent? So there are few downsides of not having a patent. Few of them have been listed here. Like you can see, copying or commercialization cannot be stopped. Say if you had an idea in your mind and you started manufacturing it, you made the prototype, set up a manufacturing facility of the product which was solving a problem, and you started selling it. And if the idea that you had in your mind and you did not seek for a patent, if it was a unique one, you cannot stop others from copying it. The other day your friend or your colleague or some other person can come up with the manufacturing facility for the same product, and they can start selling it at a lower cost. So who will be at loss? You, because you do not have any kind of protection for that innovation. So that comes under copying or commercialization cannot be stopped. Next is risk of infringement. When you have an idea in your mind, a solution in your mind, and you started selling it without the knowledge of any existing prior art or existing patent which is protected by the name of some XYZ company. So in that case, if you are selling it, you are directly infringing that patent. So in that case, the patent owner can sue you and they can, land you in a legal trouble. Next is the possibility royalty loss. So when there is no, patenting, so there's no question of royalty, because royalty is something that you can gain by selling your patent or by, licensing it to someone, or it can be in the form of cross licensing as well, wherein you exchange the license with the other person. You give your license to them and take their license with you. So this was about the royalty loss and the licensing opportunities. Next, if you do not have a patent, there would be no documentation, and there might be, a lag in the technological development. And same goes for the recognition. If you do not have a patent, no one would be, recognizing you as a patent holder. So these are a couple of downsides that you might be, facing if you do not follow the track of patenting. Next, if you have an idea in your mind and you go for a patent, so it is not like you had an idea, you just go for filing of the patent. The patent or the innovation that you had in your mind, it must pass 3 tests. Those 3 tests include inventions patentable, non-obviousness, and the novelty. So what do they say? Invention patentable means the innovation or the solution that you have come up with, it must be a machine, a manufacturer, a process, or a composition. So if your innovation falls in any of these categories, only then it will be patented. So it will pass this step of the invention patentable. Next step comes with non-obviousness. So a person who is ordinarily skilled in an art, if he recognizes your innovation to be very general and very obvious, so in that case, this innovation will fail the test. This comparison will be done on the basis of existing prior arts, existing patents, existing products in the public domain. So all those will be screened, and on the basis of that screening, the person who is ordinarily skilled in art, he can judge if your invention can be is worth taking the patent or not. And the last test comes with the novelty. If your innovation, your solution is a bit different from the existing ones, so it will pass this patentability test. So these are the 3 basic steps: invention patentable, non-obviousness, and the novelty. So if your innovation or the solution passes this test, it can be patented. So now that we are done with the basic introduction of what is patent and what you should, how you should seek for a patent, now we'll discuss more about the patent search strategies and techniques with the help of a case study. So here we are taking an example of a challenge which was being faced in the existing toolboxes with poor shock absorption and buffering functions. You all guys, might be aware of a toolbox which encapsulates all the tools in the industries. So the problem was the existing toolbox had no shock absorption. Means if you throw, or if the briefcase falls from your hand, the toolbox can be damaged, and the tools placed inside the toolbox can also be damaged. So this was the challenge that an inventor might be facing. So what he came up with a shock absorbing toolbox. And the innovation here talks about the different components which includes this shock absorbing toolbox, which are listed here, like the toolbox body with a plurality of spring buffer legs installed at the bottom corners of the toolbox body. So this element would be preventing the shock or the impact that the toolbox can will be having when it is thrown from a particular height. Same ways goes other key elements like a support pad, which is preferably made of sponge. It is fixed at the bottom of the toolbox to provide extra cushioning to the tools placed inside the box. And the bottom support pad, it avoids the collision that occurs between the internal components within them. And further, this device has a very simple overall structure and better cushioning effect. So what was the challenge? We were facing very poor shock absorption. What an inventor came up with a shock absorbing toolbox wherein it had different components like spring buffer legs, sponge, some support pads, and so on. So this is the case study that we will be following in the subsequent slides. Okay, so it is not like when you have a problem with you and you come up with a solution, you will directly start searching for the background prior arts. So there are a set of uh, things that you need to learn. So few of them are key terms and the classification. So when we talk about key terms, so key terms are the ones which have been used repetitively, or the very important term in the innovation that we are talking about here. So when we read and understood the innovation, we came up with this set of keywords which were being used inside this innovation, like leg, shock, support, bias, flexible, screwdriver, soft. So I've listed down all the possible keywords or the key terms which were forming the part of the innovation. So these are all technical terms. And when we talk about this particular case study, we listed down all the key terms, like you can see tool, spring, leg, support, pad, bottom. And on the right hand side, we have mentioned the other related terms which are relevant to particular key term. For example, you can see for tool, we have written tool, screw, driver, spanner, hammer, fastener, toolbox. So these are nothing but the synonyms of tools, which can be used or which can be, coming up in your searches when you perform the patent search or the background search. So we have listed down all the possible key terms. Same goes for the spring. We have used spring, biasing, flexible, and member. For this leg, support, pad, for the pad, we have used different terms like pad, material, element, part, absorb. Same for the bottom, like bottom, base, floor. So these are different set of synonyms which have been used for the key terms which were forming a part of the innovation. So once we have a set of key terms with us, we jump on to the classifications. Classifications are something like the categorization of all the patents of all the topics as per different codes which have been set as a standard by different governing bodies. So here the governing bodies is like IPC, CPC, and USPC. IPC classifies the patents and other utility models as per the technical domain, and they have been collaborated as per the different set of class codes which we'll be discussing in the next slides. CPC is also similar to IPC but just an extension of IPC, and it is managed by European Patent Office. And talking about USPC, same is the classification but using different codes. This has been managed by the USPTO, wherein you will see different technical domains being categorized as per different class codes. And if we talk about the case study related classifications, you can see on the right hand side, for when we identified the different classes, we came up with IPC class, which was B25H302. So this is the basic class code which has been used or which has been made standard in IPC and CPC databases for the relevant toolbox or the innovation which we are talking about here. And when we talk about USPC, so the relevant class code was 81. So we'll now learn how did we fetched these class codes and the classification types and from where. As you see here, for IPC, we have put the screenshot of the database where we searched for the relevant classes which were appropriate for the innovation which we are talking about here. You can see there was a list which said B25C, B25D, B25F, and so on. And under B25H, you will see further subclasses like B25H1, B25H3, B25H3/02. So this 02 was the very narrow search or the narrow class which we found the most or the most interesting one or the very relevant one as per the innovation that we are talking about here in the case study. So this was about the IPC. Next comes the CPC. Database is different, but class codes are almost similar. When we searched for the relevant terms on CPC database, we checked that B25H302 was the relevant class that we should pick, and that is why it has been considered here. And same goes for the USPC. When we searched on USPTO database, we learned that 081 was the class which was used for tools. So good thing about all these classification databases is that they are open source and freely available. anyone can access these databases and know what class their invention fall into. So now that we have learned the key terms and classifications that are used in the search strategies, now we jump on to the databases. So basically we will be learning about open source database and commercial database here. So starting with the open source database, we have Google Patents here, wherein you see on the left hand side, there is a search term option named synonym, wherein you put the relevant key term in this dialog box and start searching for the relevant prior art that you need to search for. Other than synonym, you have multiple other filter options, wherein if you have any preference, like you need to search for the patents which were filed in 2020, you can filter it down using the filter below the search term named search fields in date priority. You can select whatever date you need to. There are three type of dates basically here, which are priority date, filing date, and the publication date. Whatever suits you well, or whatever suits you as per the your requirement, you can set it as the preference here and start searching. Next, we have the option to search using any inventor's name and the assignee name. Say you need to search for the prior art from a particular company. Say, for example, I need to search for a mobile phone from Samsung. So what would I do? I would enter the Samsung's name in assignee column and press enter. I will get the list of all the patents from Samsung. Same goes with the other databases, like when we talk about Google Scholar on the right hand side, you will see the dialog boxes here with all the words. When you need to search for the for any prior art using some keywords, there obviously there would be there would not be a single keyword, there would be multiple key terms. So when you search using all the keywords, if you search using 3 terms, you put 3 terms in the first column, the database will search for all the 3 terms. So basically, if you put A, B, and C, it will start searching for the prior arts which has these terms A, B, and C. Next is the option to search using exact phrase. So you say you have a phrase with you, you put that phrase in this box and start the search, hit the search button. You will be given a list of patents or list of the prior arts which has that exact phrase. And at least one word means if you are searching using 3 terms, the database will give you the patents or the prior arts with at least 1 term. The patent with 1 term will be shown to you. The patent with 2 terms will be shown to you. The patent with 3 terms will be shown to you. So this will be the broadest possible term sets which can be used to search for the relevant prior arts. Without the word means if you have some key terms that you do not want to look into, you can put that term here, and the patents including those terms will not be shown to you. So similarly, there are other filters like you can search by authored or the author name. You can search using publication. You can search between the range of dates that you need to know that is of your preference. You can search using these filters. Next, we have Impasse. So this is the Indian Patent Advanced Search System being managed by Indian government. So this is very very much reliable when it comes to Indian patents. So this database has a repository of a good number of patents wherein you can find the complete details of Indian patents in the most of the times. You can see at the in the search bars where you can see please enter title. Say if you have a term in your mind, if we take an example of case study which we just discussed, there the key terms were toolbox, spring, biasing member. So using these terms, you can enter these terms in any of these boxes and it will provide you the results wherever the term has been present. Say if you search for any term in abstract, it will provide you the background art wherein that term was mentioned in the abstract. Same is with the complete specification and the title. You have more filters here wherein you can search using a different kind of dates. Say you have a priority to search for any patent which was filed in 2012. So you can directly put on 2012 and in between multiple dates, you can directly search using this database. This was about the Impasse. Next comes the eSpaceNet. So this database has been extensively used by many professionals. This is managed by EP or European Patent Office and is very much reliable when it comes to searching for the prior arts in the in European regions. So there also you can see the title box where you can search any relevant art is in title, or you can search for any key terms which have been present in titles or abstract. So this was about eSpaceNet. Next comes the open source database named USPTO. So USPTO is very much interactive and very much appealing kind of database that you can see, and it has very good number of patents repository in it. So you can see we conducted a search using Toolbox, Spring, and Support. On the top left section, you can see the dialog box wherein we entered these three terms which were relevant to the case study which we are talking about here, and we searched for these terms, and this search query provided me a list of 4,470 patents which were filed or which were published or which are in public domain, which have these terms named Toolbox, Spring, and Support. Say these all 4,000 search hits might not be of use to you. So what you can do, you can just tick mark on any relevant one, just like I have selected this 11 number patent on the bottom left corner. I have check marked this number, and on the right hand side window, the complete full text of this patent, this US patent number 11 has been showcased to me. So from this right hand side window, I can analyze the complete patent as to what type of information is this patent disclosing or talking about. So what you see in this screen on the green panel is the basic bibliographic information of this patent. You will see the document ID, which is the publication number of this patent, then the published date, on which date it was published, then comes the inventor's information and the assignee information. So now we are done with the open source databases. Now comes the commercial one, wherein many professionals most of the time rely on these commercial databases rather than relying on the open source databases, because there are multiple limitations of the open source databases, which can be like updation. There might not be very frequent updations on those databases. The geography coverage, few databases might be US oriented, few might be European oriented, and few might lack Korean patents or Chinese patents. So this is the reason why most of the professionals rely on the commercial databases, because it has a much bigger repository of the patents from very large timeline. So as you can see, we are taking here an example of Question Orbit. So this is how the interface of Question Orbit looks like. There are several options to search for. On the left hand side, you will see easy search, advanced search, semantic search, number search. So for now, we are discussing the advanced search. Few of them will be discussed in the subsequent slides. When we talk about the advanced search, you see there's a similar option here to search for the keywords, wherein you'll see if you need to search the keywords in the full text of the patent, you select full text here. If you have any priority to search in abstract only, you can select abstract in the full text dialog box and write the key term that you need to search for. It will give you the patents which has the key terms in the abstract only. Same is with the classification, as we discussed earlier. So there is an option to search using class codes as well. If you just enter a class code here and no keyword, it will give you all the patents which have that class in them. All right. Next, we have an option to search using assignee name. Say if I am more interested to look into Volkswagen patents, so I would enter Volkswagen here and click search and hit the search button. I would be given the list of patents which were being filed by, or the patents being held by Volkswagen. So these are different type of filter that you can use on this Question Orbit database, and the USP of these kind of commercial databases is the algorithm on which they work. See, if I search or anything on the open source database, it will give me a list of results. But if I conduct the same search on this commercial database, it will give me the results in relevancy wise. So when I search for any key term in full text, it will give me the most relevant ones on the top and less relevant in the bottom. This is how the algorithm, how the artificial intelligence or the intelligence of these databases work. So once we are done with the commercial database and the open source database, and we are now much aware of the key terms and how can we fetch different terms, how can we use the classification codes to search on different databases, be it open source database or the commercial database, whatever it is. Now comes the time to conduct a search query. So if you need to conduct a search query in Google Patents, so it does not do not use key terms as such which were showcased you as before. Play smartly. By smartly I mean use different truncations. You can see on the first number we have used a mark dollar. So this dollar represents any number of characters can be used after a term. For an example, I would say if I'm searching for pack, PACK, if I use this term PACK on Google Patents, it will give me a list of patents which has PACK pack. If I use the truncation with PACK and dollar sign, it will give me the results which have packs, packages, packaging, packing, and so on. So this would be a broader way to search for any prior art. Same is with introduce. If I am searching for introduction, I would rather search for INTRODUCE dollar. So this way I can search for introduces. For introduction, you can use INTRODUC and then dollar sign. And this way you can get the results which have introduction, introducing, introduces, and so on. So this is how this truncation works. Same is with the star. Star has a function to pick 0 or 1 character. Say I need to search for bottles. I can use the term bottle and star. This way it will give me the results of bottle as well as bottles. Sometimes it happens in US English and UK English, there is a difference of S and Z. When we talk about analyze, few users analyze ANALYSE. Some people use ANALYZE. So in that case, if you need to capture both these terms, you must use ANALY#E. So this way, the database will pick analyze with S and analyze with Z. This is how truncations work on Google Patents on the open source database. And there are few operators which can be used to broaden your search query and get the most relevant number of hits. Few of them have been listed here, named near, with, same. So all these three have the same function. If you are using smart and card as the key terms to search for the smart card, so it will give you the results which have smart card. It will give you the prior art which have card smart. So this is how the operator work. Next operator is ADJ or adjacent. So this way, if you are searching for, say, quality check, it will give you the results for quality check only. The patents or the prior art which have check quality, this term or this patent will not be reflected in your search query. So this is how truncations and operators work in the open source databases. Now, when we are talking about truncations and operators, we will also talk about truncation and operator in the commercial database. So these truncations are a bit different from the open source databases. See, every database has its own kind of truncations and operators, and few have their own USP, as in more coverage in terms of patents. Few have more geographical coverage. Few have more timeline coverage. So this is how things vary from database to database. So on Questel Orbit, we use PACK plus. So this way, it will give me the prior art with packs, pack, package, packaging, packaging. So this is how plus sign works on Questel Orbit. Next is the question mark. So question mark will give you the results with 0 or 1 character. So if you're using question mark after a bottle, it will give you the prior art with bottle and bottles. Same as with the hash. Next is the operators. What operators are used in this Questel Orbit are listed below, like OR, AND, NOT, SPWD. So we'll talk about all of them one by one. When you are using OR in between two terms, it will give you the results with any one of them term, on both as well. And if you're using AND, so it will give you water and bottle. It will not give you any result which has bottle only and not water. Third is NOT, wherein if you search for phone not camera, it will give you the patents or the prior arts with phone only and not the camera. If you're using S in between two words, it will give you both the terms if they are present in the same sentence. If there's a sentence which talks about a print and a machine, so that result will be listed in the patent list, which will be provided by this database. For P, we use for paragraph we use P. If you need to check for any terms which are in same paragraph, we use P. If you have a specific order to search into, if you need to search for smart card and card smart as well, so you must use D. And if you need to search both of the terms in specific order, like quality check, you must use W. So this was about the truncations and operators in question orbit. Now that we are very much familiar with key terms, truncations, and classes, now time has come to jump on to the building of the search query. How would you build the search query? So this is how I have built the search query as per the case study that we were discussing earlier. As you can see, we have used the different terms which we listed in the key terms, named tool, screwdriver, spanner, and with these terms we have used different truncations and operators. All right. So this is about keyword search. Along with this, we have tried to make another search named keyword and class based, wherein you will see we have merged keywords and class in the same search query. We have used keywords of spring, bias, leg, support, elements, part, absorb, and so on with the key classes of boxes, the toolboxes that we were talking about in the databases of IPC, CPC, and USPC. So this is how the search queries will be used for searching the prior art on the commercial databases. Along with these keywords and classes based search, we have few more options to search for the background, which are semantic based search, assignee based, and similarity based. Semantic based means if you have a phrase in your mind, you start searching using that phrase. The intelligence of the database will pick up the relevant key terms from that phrase and give you the results as per its intelligence and as per the relevancy that you're looking for. So this would be semantic search. If you have any assignee or inventor in your mind that you need to search for, you can use this type of search query. If you have similarity based search, you need to conduct a similarity based search. If you have, say, a couple of relevant patents that you need to, that are relevant as per your innovation, you can conduct a similarity search wherein you will be given a list of patents which are similar to the one that you have uploaded. So this will be similarity based search. Now that searches have been conducted, now time has come to analyze that patent set that you have been given by the patent database. So how would you do so? So we always prefer full text analysis of the prior arts. Full text analysis means if you need to search for any key term in the patent, you need to look out for that term in title, in abstract, in description, and as well as in the claims. You must not rely on just one thing. If you need to search for spring and the toolbox, if you are relying on any background art which was not disclosing these terms in the abstract, so you ignored it, this would be a wrong practice. If these terms are not present in the abstract, jump onto the description and claims and see whether these terms have been talked about in the description and claim or not. If they are not talked about, the patent is not relevant. And yes, if they are in the description and claim and they are very much similar to the innovation that you had in your mind or the subject matter that you have with you, then in that case it forms a relevant prior art. So this is how full text analysis works. So now that you are analyzing these list of patents, say for example you conducted a search query and the database provided you a list of 1000 patents. So it is not compulsory that all those 1000 patents would be of relevance for you as per the subject matter of yours. So in that case, you must have the shortlisting criteria with you as to on what basis you must shortlist the patents from the list of 1000 patents. So you need to make a smaller pool of patents which are more related to your subject matter. Once you have that smaller pool, you must deep dive into the in-depth analysis of the of those relevant patents that you have with you. So after doing the in-depth analysis, if you have come up with, say, for example, among those 1000, when you shortlisted the relevant ones, you are left with 100 patents only. And when you drill down more and started in the in-depth analysis of those 100 patents, you are left with only 2 patents. So now what? How would you judge the relevancy criteria as to how much relevant those 2 relevant prior arts are? So in that case, you need to do the element to element mapping. We call it mapping because on one side, you must write the key features of your innovation, and on the opposite side, you must write all the key terms or the key features that you have found in those 2 relevant patents. For an example, I have listed here the key features which form a part of the subject matter of the case study. As you can see, first one is the shock absorbing toolbox. Next key feature was the spring buffer legs at the bottom corner. And the third one was supporting pad, which were fixed at the bottom to avoid the collision between internal components. So these were the key features we talked about in the innovation part. And when we started searching for the prior arts, what we came up with, there was a patent with a number Chinese, it's a Chinese patent 212919297U. So this is basically utility model. So what we came up with, so this was a prior art which was very much related to the subject matter that we were looking for. So when we started mapping this, see how the elements have been mapped. On the left hand side key feature, you will see first a shock absorbing toolbox was something which we were looking for. And on the right hand side, on the patent, in the patent, we found a shock absorbing electronic electrician toolbox. So this is something which is much relevant. When we jump on to the second key feature, which was spring buffer legs at the bottom corner. So this is something which the innovation was talking about. And what we have located in this Chinese patent, a spring and a spring buffer leg. Buffer leg is installed at the bottom corner of toolbox. So this also maps very well. And when we talk about the third element, support pad fixed at bottom for avoiding collision between internal components. So this was something which we were looking for. And this Chinese patent was disclosing a bottom sponge pad installed on the upper side and the bottom support plate. The bottom sponge pad can be added to avoid collisions between the internal parts and so on. So when we try to map all these components with respect to the key features, we found that the prior art, this Chinese prior art, was much more relevant to the subject matter which we considered as a case study here. And along with this Chinese patent, we also located another US patent application wherein text was mapped very well for first and second components, but for the third component, which we were not able to locate any relevant text here. So this is how we map the key features of the subject matter with respect to the relevant prior art that we have located. So you guys might be thinking that what is the need of this mapping? So when you are thinking about, say, key features or the key innovation that you have come up with, there's some product which can solve a particular problem, and you need to go for the applying the patent of that innovation or the solution. So this mapping helps you check the extent of key element or the process or the structural thing of the key features of yours with respect to the prior art which has been existing as of now. So this is how mapping has been done. Once the mapping has been done, so now comes the conclusion time. Say if you have found a very close prior art with respect to the subject matter, be it in any form. It can be in the form of a product, it can be in the form of any literature, any article or journal, or any blog, any vlog, any video, or in the form of a patent. So in that case, the subject matter or the innovation or the solution which was solving your problem and which you have invented, it fails the test of patentability and the innovation needs some rework. So this is how patent thing goes. And say when you were searching for the relevant prior arts in the public domain or in the patents or in any other field, and you were not able to locate any prior art with exhaustive searching. So in that case, the innovation passes the test of patentability, and you can get your subject matter patented. So this is all about the conclusion. I think the session was productive, and I mean, you guys might have learned how the patent search strategy and technique works. I hope this was very helpful for you guys, since I was seeing the most of the people or the audience here are the very budding entrepreneurs, or the college students, or the innovators. So I would like to hear from you, Mr. Prem. I hope we are in line with the session which we were planned as scheduled. So we are up with the queries. If you guys might have something with you. Hello.
Sir.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Prem, am I audible?
It's audible, sir.
Okay, okay. Got it. So we are up for the queries. If the audience have any queries with respect to the patent search strategies, anything about the open source database and how to search, anything about keywords or classifications, I'm open to it. You can post your queries in the chat box. Or you can ask right away.
Participants, you can ask your queries.
No queries. So I hope the session was very much in line with what the audience was looking for.
Sir, one of the participants is asking.
Yes, please let me sir.
What are your views on patent office drafting and novel design?
Patent drafting is something when when your subject matter has passed the patentability test. So in that case, you can get your patent drafted with the professionals, and that draft will then be submitted to the patent office, and they will review it. They will do the background searches on their own, and after that, the patent will be granted or the published if the innovation has been found to be novel and there is something inventive step in it. So this is something about the drafting. And novel design, yes, if the design is very much novel, so in that case you can apply for the design patent. But until and unless a design has some utility, there is something some changes in the structure or changes in the machine or the component. So if it is not there, so it cannot be applied under utility patent. If you are just changing the design, so in that case it will fall under design patent. Okay, patent renewal process. So there's something when you have received the patent rights with you, the patent has been granted. So after a couple of years, you will be asked to pay the maintenance fees for the patent. If you fail to pay any maintenance fees, so there are chances the patent may get lapsed. So that is something which is about the costing or the maintenance of the patent. So renewal, when we talk about renewal, so there is no such term in patents about the renewal of a patent. Once the patent has been granted, it will anyhow last for 20 years only, not about 20 years. So there is no renewal after 20 years. Why key terms important? Okay, so very interesting question. So say if you, okay, I'll take an example of the case study that we just discussed. What we were looking for was the toolbox with Spring and some other members like biasing member or the support pad or response. If you need to search for the similar box which is existing in the prior art, if you search using same term, you need to search for toolbox, you conducted search using toolbox, it will give you a set of results. But if you search using toolbox, using tools, using the key terms of screwdriver, you are doing nothing but broadening the search scope. In this way, you will get to know what other aspects are there which are talking about the shock absorbing toolbox and the tools. So this is how synonyms work. So this is how we make the search query broad to capture more of the prior art, to know more what is being going on in the existing prior art. So this is why the key terms or the synonyms of those terms important. How do I take patent rights to my idea? Okay, first of all, you need to identify if that idea is solving a problem, one. Then if the solution that you have come up with in the form of an idea can be, is worth getting a patent. By worth getting a patent, I mean if it is having any inventive step, anything novel, anything non-obvious. So these are the three basic tests of patentability that we discussed in the slides a couple of minutes back. So these are the three tests that you need to pass, or your idea needs to pass. If there is no existing prior art similar to your idea or your innovation or the solution, you can obviously go for the patent. How well does the project's ornamental appearance affect the comprehensive design searches? Okay, so when you are searching for designs, the ornamental structure or the ornamental appearance is the only thing that you need to search for. Say if I need to, I have this mouse with me. I design another mouse, similar working, but the shape would be something different. I need to design it in the form of, say, flat mouse in the shape of a mobile phone. So that will be something that I have changed for this mouse, is the structural appearance of this mouse. So this is what I have changed. So this is how important the design is when you are filing for the design patent. If the design of that product which is existing has been changed, so in that case you can apply for the design patent. If there is no structural change in any component, so you cannot apply for a design patent. The design must be, unique, must be different from the existing prior arts, must be having something, ornamental in its features. That's it. So this is how design searches work. And yes, we talked about patent searches. When it comes to design searches, we in the similar way we use key terms, but the classification codes would differ. In that case, we would use different type of classes, like Windows class we can use for design searches. You can use on the US database, you will see there are class codes with symbol D, with term D, D01, D02, and so on. So these are basic design search class codes which you should use while searching for any designs which are being existing in the prior art and the related to the invention that you have come up with or the design that you have come up with. So any other question? Okay, I think this is it. Can you confirm, Mr. Prem, if anyone else have any question?
So that's all, sir. Participants, is there any queries?
No. Okay, I think it was very much, interactive session with you guys. The audience asked very, good quality questions, and I hope I have answered everyone very well. And I hope this session was helpful and would help you guys to, search for any kind of existing prior art which is there, to avoid you guys falling into any kind of legal battle if you are avoiding the patent path and directly commercializing the product. I hope this session was helpful for you, for every one of you. And thank you so much for the organizers, Mr. Prem and Mr. Dinesh as well. Okay. I think we can wrap this session up, Mr. Prem. And also, it's not restricted to this session only. I would also, like to request, if you have any kind of queries in future, this presentation has my email address. I'll share it once again on this chat box. You can anytime connect with me if you have any kind of query related to this technical domain. So I'm going to share my email ID here. Just wait a second. So this is my email ID. You can anytime get back to me to discuss any technical field, anything. If you are, if it is, hindering anything in terms of the patent search and techniques and IP searching, the background search, the class terms, the key terms, the classification codes, the databases, the open source database, the commercial database, anything. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
yes, no,
Okay.
so no one is, asking question. I think I have answered most of them. So time to, say goodbye. All the best for your studies, and whosoever is approaching this innovation area, all the best for this patent searching. If you are working on any project and working on any innovation, and feel free to connect with us in any case if you have any doubt, any query related to this patent searching and strategies. We are open to answer them.
So once again, thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you so
giving a wonderful speech about the pattern search for our participants and our students, sir.
Most welcome.
Even for project, this is very much useful for our students, sir.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, all the best.
Participants, the feedback form will be posted in the chat box. You can fill it and post the feedback form. After then, you can leave the meeting.